This is my A1 Mini. I need a production powerhouse to print while I sleep 24 hours a day. How am I going to do that? Well, here I have the Chitu plate cycler, so I can get as many plates as I want. This comes with 4, to where it prints, pushes the plate off, pulls in a new one, and starts another job. But what about filament? Well, that I have another AMS2. So when it runs out of filament in one roll, it moves to the next. Or I can do multiple colors. But for that, we're going to need this AMS hub for the A1 Mini. So what I want to do today is first get the plate cycler installed, test it, get this AMS2 Pro installed, test that, and see if we can actually start production. I've designed a little funny sign that I want to use. I have 1,000 bubble mailers that I bought for like 10 cents each, and I want to put those to use. So let's start selling a print and see how this goes. This Chitu plate cycler is what I'm most excited about. Imagine being able to mass produce prints on a printer with the footprint of an A1 Mini and run it constantly. I can't load up 10 plates on my H2C and automate printing for days, but with the A1 and A1 Mini, I can. We won't be limited by a single roll of filament either, since we're also adding that AMS2. The A1 Mini is one of my favorite printers because of how small it is, easy to use, and consistent quality it'll produce for just over $200 on sale. Installation was simple, but ran into just one snag, which I'll reach out to Chitu about. But as you can see, we are automating our printing. Not too much in the box. There are printed instructions, which I appreciate, but they highly recommend you watch the installation video, which I'm following here. It does also include the 4 PEI plates you'll need, because those have attachments on them for the plate cycler to work. This also means your cold plate, like mine, can't be used. You could probably modify your existing plates, but I honestly wouldn't bother. I do have an issue with the plate holder at the back that I'll be asking Chitu for a solution. The grabby hands on the back don't quite latch on perfectly, and this is resulting in some plates not falling into place correctly. I did have a similar issue at the front, which was fixed by pressing a little harder, like it seemed like it wasn't fully seated on the bottom. That was causing the plate to be grabbed while calibrating, instead of when the print head engages a wheel at the top. Ultimately, it can be resolved with a replacement part, but for now, a good push will get a few plates cycled before needing a helping hand. Before we send a print, we have to slice all plates in our 3MF and save it as a sliced project file. I honestly didn't even know this thing existed. We'll take that file and upload it to Chitu's plate cycler site, or use the desktop application they have. I suspect this modifies the G-code to execute the plate cycling action and queue each plate in order. You can repeat individual plates or repeat the entire sequence. That is entirely up to you. Time to test. No objective measurements here, just does it work? And it absolutely does. 4 benchies right off the bat onto the 4 included PEI plates. Next step is adding an AMS for some more complex prints, or just backup rolls of filaments for days of continuous printing. If the plate cycler can't keep up with sales, then I need to upload my design to PCBWay. They are currently having their 12th anniversary celebration, which you can find a link for in the video description below. Throughout July 2026, you can get free matte black, purple, or pink solder mask for rigid, flexible, and rigid flex PCBs. The projects PCBWay has helped me with have always been great, so don't sit on this offer and head over after you finish the video. I actually bought this AMS2 for my H2C, but wanted to test it on my A1 Mini because if I can get this working, then I can look for a cheap AMS1 on eBay or Facebook, since I don't really need the drying on this printer. The only part I needed to buy, other than the AMS itself, is the AMS hub that you 3D print an attachment for. It goes on the side of the arm here and contains the filament buffer and the extra AMS 6-pin connection. Since it doesn't have the power to dry your filament, like connecting this to the H2C does, so you'd need a power brick for any drying at all on the AMS2. One firmware update later, and selecting AMS in the slicer, I have a functional A1 Mini with an AMS. This is super exciting because with an AMS, I can print those no AMS prints where each color is separated out. One color overnight while I sleep, meaning almost no waste, and may actually be faster than a tool head changer, like my H2C or U1. My test print here is a Pikachu. I thought it was hilarious, and well, that's because it is. Not a great example model since it requires internal supports under its butt, but that you can't remove after it's done. And I let it use black for infill, which you can see. However, my kids want to play with it, and they don't care. So most importantly, it's a successful multicolor print using the AMS on the A1 Mini. Let's finish this test and move on to something I really want to print using the AMS and the plate cycler together. My 6-year-old son discovered the Pokemon show on Netflix and made a homemade Pokeball and Pokédex to play with, so let's print him some actual Pokeballs. This is what my A1 Mini will be doing when not running batches of the same model. This is one of those no AMS files where each color is its own plate, but we have an AMS in our example. Sure, I could load all the colors into any other printer and swap plates after every job, but that's slower because it's not automated. Or I could print a multicolor version on the A1 Mini now, but the amount of printer poop would be insane. Finally, I could use my H2C, but the nozzle swaps would also take a long time. The absolutely most efficient method is using the AMS with a plate cycler. I get the speed of printing without 100 nozzle swaps and almost no filament waste, as if I did use nozzle swapping. It also prints each plate on its own while I sleep, work, or whatever I feel like doing. I'm legitimately excited for this new process, and the primary reason the plate cycler is here to stay. Enough toys. What about production? I have this little bathroom sign I designed that I'd like to start selling using the 1,000-some bubble mailers I have. Yes, I could fit a few on my large printers, and with one layer change, the waste wouldn't be that bad. However, that means I can't use my printers for other things like the toy horses, toy horse barns, toy dogs, toy dog carriers, among many other things my daughter wants me to build her farm with. You know, priorities. Anyway, 10 plates, constant printing, and to be honest, I don't expect to sell a lot of these, but this machine can be dedicated to it if I'm wrong. Alright, what does your 3D printing production powerhouse look like? Have you tried the A1 plate cycler? Because the added bed size would be even more efficient. Like, subscribe, let me know in the comments what you think about plate cyclers, or being able to add a full AMS to the A1 series instead of the AMS Lite. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.